One of the fun things I love about looking at art is sometimes getting an opportunity to chat with the artist. And I think I might be doing that right about now. Introduce yourself. Tell everybody who you are. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Joseph Terone.
And where are you from, Joseph?
From Glen Rock, originally from Brooklyn, New York.
And you're part of this exhibition, this part of the show today, correct?
Yes.
Now, I pulled back on something that looks kind of interesting. Why don't you give me a little bit of feedback on what I'm looking at? Nice and loud so I can hear you.
This is Martha's Vineyard.
Oh, for real?
Yes. And I was down on a trip there, vacation, and we had ventured all the way out to the end, and it was this beautiful old fishing village. And the light was just beautiful coming across in between these two buildings.
What's the is this oil here? What am I looking at?
This is an oil painting.
Oil.
I'm a plein air painter.
You're a plein air painter?
Plein air painter.
Explain that, if you don't mind.
Plein air, basically, if I go to a gallery and present my work, I'm an outdoor painter. The gallery sells it to you, I'm a plein air painter. Basically, it's French, and it means painting outside.
Got it. The lighting is actually superb. How difficult is it to sometimes get that right lighting with oil?
It takes a long time to
figure that out.
Because there's a lot, it's not just the light, it's warm and cool tones, it's reflected light that bounces up into the painting from the bottom, it's gradations that come across.
Now let me ask you this, were you actually there painting, or did you sort of have that as an image or take a photograph and then go back?
I paint outdoors all the time.
You were sort of set up out there to do that?
About 2.5 to 3 hours.
Oh, really? Actually, that's very quick, isn't it?
Yes.
2.5 to 3 hours?
Sometimes I'll bring it back to my studio and tweak certain things, but for the most part, it needs to be done mostly outside.
Well, that's very exciting. I'll tell you what, we got another shuttle here. Why don't you come on down over here and join me? As the gallery show gets a little bit more involved. And where are we here, sir?
This is in Vermont.
Vermont.
This is called the Depot. It was right around I forget the storm. We had a huge storm where everything was washed out a couple of years ago in the fall, and I did a plein air event up there. Actually, that day rained so hard, these tracks were full of rain. But anyway, so you could see the fog in the background.
Was it the same situation? You did most of your painting actually on location as you were doing this?
This was a plein air event, so we were there for 4 days, having to produce 2 paintings at the end of the week.
So it took you 4 days to do that and 2 hours to do that one?
No, this one took me.
I was only kidding.
3 hours. Yeah, we had to produce 2. There were artists from across the country painting together, and we had to produce 2 paintings at the end of the week that were put in a show. So this was pouring, so we were under this huge eave of this depot, and actually there were 4 or 5 artists there because it was one of the few places that you could stay dry and paint. So anyway, it's looking out, to the train.
Is this most of your concept of some of your work? Outdoor scenery, oil? That's always your thing?
Yeah, I'll do a still life now and then, but for the most part, I'm an outdoor plein air painter on location.
Do you like getting involved with shows like this where people get a chance to see your work? How do you feel about
that? Absolutely. If people aren't seeing my work, it's just stacked up in my studio.
How do you feel about being here at Fairlawn?
It's great. This is a wonderful space, and I forget the woman's name, I'm sorry, that hung the show, but she did an
she's fabulous with it.
Incredible job hanging. It's not hanging a show is an art in and of itself.
Actually, I've heard about that. What it's next to even the lighting in that particular room too.
Absolutely. She did a marvelous job here, I have to say. She really is talented.
I think you did a marvelous job with your work.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure meeting with you, and we're going to try to share this with our audience and have people come by and see it. Now,
great. I'd love them.
Go mingle with some of your people. Very nice to meet you. Thank you.
Take care.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm great.
I always want to come down to the art shows in Fairlawn. They have such wonderful exhibitions and artists. And you're one of the artists that are here today. Introduce yourself. Tell me your name. What's your name, please?
My name is Peggy Dressel. I'm one of the artists that belong to the Blackwell Street Group.
I heard that you actually have 2 pieces. Can we look at this one first? Maybe tell me a little bit about this? Yeah, what am I looking at here? Tell me. This looks like a nice little French villa.
This is, believe it or not, this is Central Park.
Central Park?
Yes, I did a series on Central Park, and this one is Sunday in the Park.
Sunday in the Park with George? Wasn't that a Sondheim musical? Yes, it was. Stephen Sondheim, it was a play.
That's right. I remember that. Right. So.
What format? Is it almost a watercolor, perhaps? What am I looking at?
Yes, you're working on a watercolor. It's transparent watercolor.
Do you stay there? I always try to find that out, and I ask this a lot. When you're actually painting something, are you there painting, or do you maybe take a picture or an image and come back with it? How do you do what you do?
Okay, well, I do both.
You do both, okay.
Right, so sometimes I take pictures and I bring it home, and other times I just stay there and paint.
What'd you do with this one?
This one, I ended up taking some pictures and bringing a whole bunch of pictures home. Actually, that was part of a Paint in the Park series, but
I love that. It's very, very friendly.
but this one I actually did from some of the photographs that I
Now,
took.
if I'm not mistaken, Peggy, I think you have another piece of work here. Can we take a little
Yes,
peek
I
at that
do.
too?
Sure.
Go ahead. I'm going to follow you over. Da, 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 da. All right, Peggy, we're at your second artwork that you have at this way here. Somebody you know? Friendly?
Yes.
Family? Tell me about this guy.
This is my grandson.
Grandson,
He
does he know you
is
did
now
this?
11 years old. Yes, I gave him a copy of it.
What did he say? He must have loved it, huh?
Yeah, he liked
Well,
it
it's
a
probably
lot.
his family liked it more than him.
Well, he's a little budding
He's a-
artist also. And this is pastel over watercolor, and the background is watercolor, and the portrait is actually done in the pastel.
Did you have him actually sit there for a little while that was going on?
No, this was definitely done from a photograph.
This was done from a
because
photograph.
10-year-old boys don't really sit
I was going to say
still.
that would have been a challenge to get him to sit there for that long.
No.
How do you feel about being here in Fairlawn with the show here?
I love it. This is a beautiful gallery. I think it's a great space for artists to show, and I'm very thankful for the Fairlawn Library to make this possible. And
Well, continue good luck, and I love your necklace. I have to say things like that.
Okay.
Now go mingle with some folks, and thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.